think we are really, all the students are eager to know about your story, right? So let's, I would want you first to add a bit about your introduction, because law college, all I've told you, I've told the
Yes.
aspirants, but what else would you like to add? Like
And
your
there's
prior
not,
to college and all.
I mean, there's nothing much to add. Before college, I was in military school in 11th and 12th grade, and that's it. After that, I did law, and I just appeared for this exam. I was
Right.
planning for litigation and certain law firms, but yes, I skipped those for this exam.
Okay. And Yash, like, how did you come to know about this exam? SEBI grade. It's not a very common exam.
Yes, ma'am. So, I mean, as a law student, obviously we all were aware about what SEBI is, and we were studying about its scams and all, and it was pretty fun to read about it. But later on, after in my final year, we got a notification, and I was not interested in it at that time because I thought it would be too hard to crack it. And then later on, one of my friend told me, "Okay, you can do it. Just try." And then I started doing it, and with time, I got confidence, and that's it. That's how
And
I
yes,
actually got
of
in.
course, rest you are here now as an officer in front of us, right? Okay. So Yash, talking about the strategy, see, we have phase one, phase two, and interview. In for general stream, paper two is different, and for like your stream, legal stream, paper two in both the phases is of your respective stream only, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's first talk about the subjects that are common. That is your paper one, phase one, which includes quant, reasoning, English, and general awareness.
Yeah.
You just tell us, how did you prepare for that paper, and what would you suggest the candidates to go about it?
So, ma'am, I was already aware about these subjects because for law, you have to give certain examinations such as CLAT or other things which have these subjects in it. But as so, I thought, okay, let's just try giving one mock, and I failed miserably in that. Like I got really less marks in that, and I was intimidated because I thought that SEBI, the toughness IBPS PO which gives is on entire different level. The
Hmm.
setting arrangements and everything,
Hmm.
even I mean, cons, you have to calculate so much just to arrive at simple answers in the end. So a lot of practice was needed for that. I knew it. So what I did for this, that I left GK entirely because it was not a sectional cutoff.
Hmm.
I mean, there was no required minimum marks to score. So
Right.
I thought that okay, if I can score 15 in reasoning, 15 more than 8, 17, 18 in English, and then I can obviously get about 30 overall. And that was my main goal. So what I did initially was I simply used to solve 10 questions each day from each field, like 10 questions from 10 high difficulty level questions from quants, um, reasoning, and English was obviously there was usual practice. And then I used to clear my concepts on YouTube only. Like there are many good teachers on YouTube. You just need to follow them. You just need to follow them,
Hmm.
and that's it. Clear your concepts and keep on solving questions. And if you even score above average or average marks, that is good enough to qualify. But at least that was the case in 2020 exam.
Hmm.
In
Right.
2018, it was much difficult back
Difficult,
then.
right? Of
I,
course. With
I don't think I would have been able to crack 2018 exam because of
hmm.
its sectional cutoff. But yes,
Okay.
and is there anything else which is needed to be clear? No, that's it. I only solved 10 questions and then I started giving mocks and I started getting good marks and ranks in that in for
Okay.
paper one.
So what I can understand is, as you said, that you felt that because there was no specific subject-wise cutoff, you just had to score 30% in the paper. So you focused on the subjects which you felt that you can do good,
Yes,
or you are good at already, like quant, reasoning, and English. You first practiced the basic things, and then you moved on to like mock tests, revision of the subjects that you have done, practice of those questions, right?
yes, just practicing.
Just
That's
practice them, right? So this is how. And GA you did not even touch.
I mean, it's so I don't find it good enough to just study some facts and keep it in mind, and then certain 20 questions out of random will
Hmm.
come, and then I have to answer it. So out of my own general understanding, I guess I knew 2 or 3 questions.
Hmm.
So I obviously marked them. But
And
later on,
anyhow, because the current affairs weightage itself was not there in paper much, so that was of no
uh,
use to specifically focus on
I
GA,
mean
right?
that, yeah, I focused on that after phase two for interview, obviously,
Definitely, right.
and not for only interview, but for also essay writing.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Right.
But anyway, yeah,
So coming to this essay writing thing only, I was going to come to this English descriptive paper only because let's discuss this and then we will move on to the legal
discussion. Yeah.
stream subjects. So, how did you prepare, Yash, for your English phase two paper?
I did not.
Okay.
I mean, the thing was that 5 years throughout my law school, we used to get a lot of assignments.
Hmm.
And through these assignments, much of the time I used to copy. I mean, see, I copy and paste, and much of the time I used to write my own assignments. So whenever I used to write my own assignments, that itself was a practice. So one thing which I understand about writing essay is that you need to have a proper structure and some authoritative precedent behind it.
Hmm.
For example, let's see. For the essay which I had written in my exam was about fake news.
Hmm.
So first of all, you have to have introduction about it, what is fake news and all. Then write significance about it, that why it should be discussed in the first place. Then write some authority which happened recently, like no one can deny about it. Like for example, Australia had recently introduced a not a bill, a law, had passed a law itself, which actually gave some restriction on news
Hmm.
on its platform. Like Facebook had some concerns regarding it, and it has something to do with fake news. So I obviously used that. So now no one can deny the knowledge part that this guy doesn't know. Then
Hmm.
afterwards, after doing that, what I did was, okay, is this wrong or right? Then listing pros and cons, then analyzing my own opinion, that what do I think about it, and then what is the possible solution towards it, what can we hope for, and obviously the conclusion part. Now the essay was only for 200 words, but I have a habit of writing a lot, so I wrote, I guess, around 500 words. And
500 words.
yes, within that time.
Okay.
And I think that after the exam, people were saying that machine checking is going to be there.
Huh.
So I was
Right.
extremely scared because I could not even check my own spelling mistakes and grammatical mistakes
Hmm.
which happened at that time. So I thought that, okay, what can I do? I was just like, okay, never mind, I don't care. And I'm pretty sure it was human checking. Because
Hmm.
if it was human checking, then obviously I think I'll get a good mark. I'll get good
Hmm.
marks in
Hmm.
that.
Hmm. Hmm. So the takeaway is for my dear students who are watching and preparing. See, Yash has given an example that he wonderfully structured the essay. Okay, you just should not write anything, rather put it in a structured manner. Introduction, your current knowledge about that particular topic you are writing, right? Pros, cons, everything. Although he did not adhere to the word limit, he for 200 he has written 500 words, but we are not sure whether the essays are checked, the word limit and everything is checked by a computer itself or it's a human check thing. So we suggest students to stick to the word limit as far as you can. Okay, but if you have good knowledge and if you let's say overwrite it, it's okay, completely okay, right? Yash.
Yeah. And ma'am, one thing, I think the reason why I had overwritten because in our law school there was a thing that even if there is a word limit, just write extra, you will get good marks, extra marks and all, and we used to.
Hmm.
So that's why I thought that
Hmm.
maybe I should try here also. And one thing which is very
Hmm.
important for essay writing is that you should not make essay writing extremely boring. For example, people
Hmm.
use statistics a lot. I mean, what's the
Hmm.
point of using so much statistics if your point cannot be highlighted in the first place? Your essay has to be written in a story manner. Like
Hmm.
it has to be like if the reader reads 1 or 2 lines, he has to get immersed immediately till the end of the essay. And for
Hmm.
that, you yourself have to get immersed. You yourself have to feel that what the reader is going to feel,
Hmm.
and
S-
that way you
and
can.
for that, Yash, you said newspaper reading helped you
Yes,
uh,
ma'am.
preparing for that. And do you also suggest students to practice essay writing beforehand? at least
To be
few
honest,
essays.
even if you're not even preparing for any competitive exam, or even if you're preparing from today, like if this is your first day, then you should start writing essay. At least 100 words a day. Just write anything you want and write it in a structurized form.
Hmm.
That would be okay. That should be okay.
Right. I think that is insightful. Anything else you'd like to add for for descriptive paper like your Pressy writing, RC?
Yes, definitely. I'll add something more to essay. So for essay, reading newspaper is something that is a must. And obviously, there are also Telegram channels you can find of people who are appearing for SEBI. So what they do is that they share a lot of articles,
Hmm.
and don't miss out on them, because even general stream candidates share their insights, and then you get a lot of opinions. So
Hmm.
obviously you can always form something new out of them. So
Hmm.
always be in a group or something that will help you a lot.
Right.
And regarding Pressy writing and RC, I mean, there was no need for me to prepare for RC, and Pressy writing is just nothing. It's just summarizing whatever you read. So
Hmm.
I used to read 2 or 3 lines, and then I just used to think, okay, what can I do to convert this in one line? And then I just simply used to write. As soon as started, first when I started attempting descriptive, the first thing I did was essay writing. After essay, I attempted Pressy. In Pressy, what I did, I simply used to read two lines and then I used to make it into one line and give it an appropriate title. That's it. That's what I did. And for RC, there was nothing. I just used to, I thought that whatever answer I give, it has to be hopeful in nature. Like it has to sound hopeful,
Hmm.
because there has to be a touch of the author. You don't need to sound mechanical in
Hmm.
whatever you write. So that's what I did. And it was not that hard, honestly. In fact, descriptive paper was so easy that everyone were extremely grateful for the examiner to make it such. So yes,
So basically, practice, what I can understand is the keyword here, that if you are
yes,
practicing essay writing, what knowledge you have, try to write it down for RC, for press, just practice, okay?
just
And
practice.
you, as you said, after you are done with phase one, you have time to practice all these things. You
Yes.
can.
And if you want to improve your English, I assume there must be some candidates who don't have English as their
Definitely.
strong point. So what they can do is, don't get yourself into grammar books and all. In fact, start watching some Western culture things. I mean, some TV series or movies,
Hmm.
anything which has English as their language,
Hmm.
and use subtitles if it's extremely hard for you to understand what's going
Hmm.
on. And throughout time only you will get a mastery over it. Otherwise, you won't. It's just not natural for that thing to happen.
Right. So I think we have told our candidates a lot about English practice, right? This is if they follow reading newspapers, general English, if they develop their English skill, they will be able to tackle this paper, right? And plus current affairs, as you said, like reading newspapers and all, this is also gonna help,
Yes.
right?
So I mean, if you have to read from newspaper,
Hmm.
just try to read the from. I only use LiveMint as my source.
Okay, live mint, right? Good newspaper that is.
And
So,
I only used to read the obviously the flip flap pages, like the front page, and certain important news relating to SEBI. But that was not at all important. The only important news which were always were the front pages news. That's it.
hmm.
And max to max, if you're from general stream or for any other stream, you just read Hindu editorials in brief, like just skim through it. Don't just try to get the main idea what
Hmm.
they are trying to talk about.
Right. Fine. So I think that will be it for the English descriptive paper, right? And we have already spoken about the paper one of phase one. So yes, moving on to your specific stream, that is legal stream. Although the subjects are in sync with the course that you have studied for 5 years, right? But what would you suggest students to where to start from if they are preparing for, let's say, SEBI legal stream specifically?
See, I'll be opening the document right now. Just a second.
Right.
So, as you can see, as you can clearly see, am I visible?
Yes, you are visible.
Okay, okay. That is enough.
Hmm.
So, as you can see in phase one, there there are many laws. So first of all, you have to understand what you are confident in and what you're not confident in.
Hmm.
So, for example, I like company law. I always liked it. So I don't think that it was so hard for me. It was just lengthy. So I had
Hmm.
to cover it. So obviously I covered company law first. Then I just checked whether if other things which I'm confident at, whether I'm good at it or not. So I checked, and turns out I was not good at it. I was average at it.
Hmm.
Then I clarified. I mean, I strengthened those my good points, and then
Hmm.
later on coming to my weak points, I was like, what can I do about it? And I simply started studying. And whatever, see, regarding the Bare Act, you have to first understand why this law came into place in the first place. I mean,
Hmm.
why? What is the significance behind it? So after understanding it, watch few videos about it on YouTube. Like you will be easily able to find like what is there, why it is there, and then going after the preamble, you will understand the intent behind it. Then obviously you have to go through section 2 of the act, which
Hmm.
clearly lays down the definitions which will be used throughout the apps. After understanding these essential things, you can just jump off to any section. It doesn't matter if you go chronologically. And whenever you are attempting a section, just ask, is this important or not? Just ask you yourself. If you understand that this section is just bogus, like there's nothing to read about it, this is just something technical in nature, then just skip it. Because I'll tell you one thing. Now, in phase one, paper two, legal paper, which was there. Now, there was code CRPC, Code of Criminal Procedure. Now everyone knows it's too vast to cover. I mean that alone is more than the entire syllabus itself if
Hmm.
we separate it from the others. So what I thought that okay, I'll skip it. I don't care about it. That's
Hmm.
what I thought. And the only question which came was a very basic question in paper phase one, which was what are cognizable offenses.
Hmm.
I mean, every legal student knows about it. So you don't need to read the entire CRPC. What people were doing, people get too technical, like I have to read each and every section. No, just think what are the important things. If you don't think something is important, don't care about it if you're right or wrong. Just follow your gut.
Okay. So, like, what I am getting is that when you start the preparation, right? First of all, as you said, you have to be aware about your own strength, about your own weakness, which subject you are good in, and which is not at all good for you. This you have to identify first, right? Uh, After that, you work on your strengths and make your weak subjects bit better rather than just
Yeah.
letting them completely weak only.
Yeah, just a bit better because there's you cannot completely perfect the syllabus. There's no
Hmm.
way you can do that. In fact, even before my exam, even before phase two, there were certain things which I had not completed.
Hmm.
But I was just confident in my other things. So that's how I gave it.
And Yash, on that note, I would like to ask about a revision thing because when you cover, what is the relevance of revision? How many revisions should be done? What
So
did
about
you do?
revision, I was extremely confused because see, as a legal student, so legal syllabus is extremely huge. It is not something which you can do, and I don't know. I'm not that. I'm not a person who is so organized and all. So I had to think that okay, what can I do? So I started attempting a lot of mocks. I started understanding what are the most important things. In fact, I used to think a lot
Hmm.
whenever I used to be alone. Like what can I do? What can I not do? And then I used to think of like 4 or 5 things at once and used to understand, okay, this is something which I can do.
Hmm.
And I used to use confidence as my metric. Like if I'm feeling confident, am I
Hmm.
feeling confident? No. Okay, then let's do this. If I'm not, then that's okay. If it's something which can be disregarded. So a lot of thinking has to be done.
Hmm.
Don't follow anyone else's plan. Like you have to do this or you won't get it. Just follow what suits you, and you have to
Hmm.
keep on thinking.
So, Yash, you said that you are not that organized, okay? But
Yeah.
when you talk about this thinking parameters, no, that you have to go by your gut, you have to understand what is not important, what is important. I feel that this is also kind of organization only, that you have to organize your thoughts only, right?
This is chaos. What can I say?
Okay.
I felt so chaotic throughout my days when I was studying.
Hmm.
The only way I could organize myself well was taking down notes, whatever I was thinking. So see, I'll tell you something. Like, is it okay if I tell you about how did I actually started? Like, how did I strategize entire thing?
Please,
Like,
yes.
so what I used to do that, I mean, I was never motivated in the first place for this exam. What whatever is in your mind, right? For example, if you keep on obsessing or think about a thing a lot, then it has to somehow, execute, get an outlet or manifest in your body somehow. You don't need motivation for that. So whenever I didn't used to feel like studying, I just used to lay down or used to walk around or used to play games and used to think in the back of my mind, what can I do, what can I not do. So my body used to itch, okay, this is something which I have to do.
Hmm.
Like, so there was no need for motivation in the first place. And then I used to understand, okay, let's do this. And sometimes I didn't even used to follow what I had thought about. I used to do
Hmm.
something entirely different, but that is okay because I think that that is something which many of others would call flow state, where you
Hmm.
completely become one with your object.
Hmm.
And doing that, there's no need for effort. You just
Hmm.
study on your own. Even as time passed, people like my family used to say to me that you're working extremely hard, but I used to think that I am not working at all. Honestly, that I used to think that I didn't work so hard. That was my thinking.
Hmm.
That's what happened when you're too obsessed about a thing, for example
Hmm.
video games or anything else.
Right. So that's a wonderful point, guys. This because we keep on hearing that how to keep yourself motivated, especially this year, Yash, because the paper got postponed, right? Almost 1 year was there in between the notification and the paper. So students tend to leave this part only, the motivation part, that we are not motivated. So many months we have what to do. So that is where your point, what you have made, I think, would come. That
Yes.
if you are instead of motivation, you have used the word obsession. Think
Yes.
about the thing you want to do,
Yes, just
right?
keep on thinking.
Hmm.
Even if it's wrong or right, the max to max you won't get selected. That's
Hmm.
the only thing which worst thing which can happen to you. But at least be obsessed. And even if you
Hmm.
don't get selected, I'm pretty sure next time you're going to have a much better chance at cracking the same exam than
Right.
most others.
Lovely point. I think students, this you have to note down that even if you do not feel motivated, just think why do you want to do it. Keep on thinking about the paper, and that apne aap that motivation will flow. That you have to do it, right?
Yes, I mean, I just used to lay down, used to walk. I There were 2 or 3 days I didn't study at all. Just kept on
Hmm.
thinking about what I need to do, and didn't used to
Hmm.
follow any of that also. But
Hmm.
there was an itching like, okay, let's do this, let's try this. So
Hmm.
yes,
That is itself motivating. Yes, hearing that from you, a selected candidate who has gone through all these things. I think all the aspirants face these dilemmas, these things. So hearing it from a newly selected officer is gonna motivate, I think, students again here.
yes. Like, I mean, see, the metric you have to ask is that you have to think to an extent where you start dreaming about it.
Hmm.
Then you know that okay, you are getting obsessed. That is the key to obsession.
Right. Lovely that was. Okay, so talking about your phase one, phase two, and our motivation part, right? Motivation come obsession.
Yeah.
Now, let us move on to the interview part of your recruitment process. So, after you were done with phase two, Yash, how did you start for the preparation of interview?
So I mean, this was something new for me because I had never appeared for an interview anywhere else before, for at least a job interview.
Hmm.
So uh, I thought to myself, okay, I need to give mocks. So wherever there were mocks, I even gave EduTap's mock, and it was pretty good. I mean, the legal part, especially, they asked me extremely good and relevant questions, which I thought that okay, I am being tested actually over here. So that was good, and give a lot of mocks. I guess I only gave 3 mocks, max to max, and that was okay for me. And other than that, keep on reading newspapers and keep
Hmm.
on discussing things on the Telegram group which are there. I mean, even if you don't want to discuss, just look at what they are discussing and keep on searching on them. Okay, they are discussing this. To be honest, see, I'll in my interview, one of the questions which was asked to me was something which I came from a Telegram group itself.
Hmm.
So, is it okay if I explain the
Please,
question?
please, yes.
So there was this one question, for example, now there are three functions of SEBI: protection of investors, regulation of the securities market, and development of the same. So now see, these three functions actually contradict itself, because when you're trying to protect the investors, there at some level you're going to hamper the development of securities market. Or if you're going to develop the securities market, at some level you're going to put the retail investors at peril. Like you can't have it that way. So if the existence of SEBI itself is a fault, like to give such contacting functions to them in the first place, you see. So there was an article which I got from the Telegram group, and I had read about it, and I was like, oh, I know about this question. This is something which has been discussed among experts. So I explained to them that okay, this is not something. This is not a failure. Actually, you can't have it any other way. If you have it, then there's going to be, it's going to hamper efficiency. SEBI has to be extremely wide in its power, or else there's a big, or else it's just going to be a slow process and delay of justice is going to be there. So
Right. So, like telegrams or other, basically widening your knowledge is the key.
yes,
I think that you
widening
get.
your knowledge and just have the key idea. See, if there's even like 10-20 pages about a subject, you don't need to read 10-20 pages. Just understand what's the main idea, what they are trying to discuss. Go directly to the conclusion and think about it. Why is it so? You don't need to read. I don't like to read at all. It's just that just try to pinpoint the main idea.
So, Yash, what I have basically noted down, or what broadly we can tell is when someone is preparing for, even as you have taken EduTap's mock interview, you might have got to know that three broad parameters are suggested to any candidate to be like they should prepare on for interview. That is first about themselves, their bio data and their profile, right? They should be aware about it. Second is their stream, the subjects,
Yeah.
they should be aware if any question is put up. And third is the organization that you are gonna join, like SEBI, let's say. These, can we say that these are the three broad things that one should focus on before interview, or anything else or minus you want to do?
See, I'll tell you entirely about my interview itself, because I don't think I can say easily in it one line or something. So obviously, profile based. The interview is going to be profile based. There's nothing else which is going to be asked much, technical things. So as I went in for my interview, they had asked me about myself, then my school life, college life, and then asked me about why SEBI in the first place. And then they asked me about obviously general things, such as, see, I'm a law graduate. I have nothing to offer as of right now, no experience and anything else. So what I think that what they want from a candidate is that they don't become a babu, like a babu who, an entitled babu, government official who doesn't care about his people and is something who doesn't act in an arbitrary manner. You can find them almost anywhere. So they asked me about constitutional law and administrative law, like principle of natural justice. What is a, who is a reasonable, not that reasonable man, but they wanted me to sound reasonable. That's what I could gather from their questions. Like they just wanted someone who is reasonable person and who is going to become a reasonable officer. So
Right.
definitely those types of questions were asked to me, and certain basic level technical questions such as Brits, delegate legislation. I mean, then initial public offer, further public offer. And the only question which I was not aware about is that they had asked me something about some department, something inherent to their departments, like I guess enforcement orders, and I'm not aware about them. So I simply, and if you simply do not know now, just say you don't know. There's no need to elongate it. And the other thing about, see, there was one thing which the mock interviewers objected me about, but it is something which I firmly believe in. Even in the interview, I did the same thing. So as I was giving mock interviews, I have a habit to give answers extremely long. Like I don't care. I don't like to give my answers in 1 or 2 points because it sounds too mechanical and too boring. Like I don't want it that way. I want other person to be sure about what I'm saying, or at least understand everything. So the mock interviews were like, you should answer in brief and to the point. But I think that that doesn't show anything else. That just shows that how knowledgeable I am, but not understanding enough. So what I did in my actual interview, whenever they used to ask me a question, even technical question, I used to explain it in depth, and I used to prolong it purposefully so
Hmm.
that they understand that okay, this guy knows. So they had to stop me from speaking at times, and they were like, okay, let's just shift to next question.
Hmm.
That's
So
it.
again, I would say that in the interview complete process, Yash, you have to be genuine.
Yes,
Even
very
if,
well.
as you said, that you were giving long answers, let's say,
Hmm.
even purposefully, but you knew you were not just making up the answers just for the sake of making them long. You had the knowledge and you wanted to share that.
Yes,
Similarly, you have to be genuine enough. As
yes,
you said, that the thing you did not know, you just clearly said that you are not aware about. On the
yes,
other hand, what you are aware about, you were telling in detail.
yes.
So you should not be someone else in your own interview, rather be
Hmm.
what you are. Try to be genuine enough, right?
Yes, it's okay if you're confused. That just admit to yourself that you're confused, and it's
Hmm.
okay. Just be whoever you are,
Hmm.
and everything is going to happen anyway.
Hmm.
I honestly, I just went blank inside at the time of interview. I was not even aware what I was doing. I
Hmm.
simply kept answering, and when I came back, I was like, okay, it went well, and that's it. Like because of that stress and tension which many you get from that environment. But
Hmm.
the interviewers were extremely cordial. I mean, you won't say that, but they had this skeptical look that they were sometimes not sure about your answers, but don't care about that. They are just, I
Hmm.
think, testing you.
You found the interviewing board quite cordial. They were
Yes, they were
talking to you.
smiling at times, but they were looking suspiciously also at times.
That I think they have to maintain that also.
Uh,
They don't want to tell you that what they are thinking,
that
right?
so
Right.
it's okay. I don't like just don't care about them.
Okay.
Just be yourself.
And the newspaper reading here also helped you, as you said, in phase two.
Yes, after phase one, I knew that for English descriptive, I had to start reading newspaper. So I started reading newspaper.
And that helped even in interview part, right?
Yes, and I mean, I continued even after phase two. So
Right.
that helped.
So that students, please, you should also do, because in newspaper will not only give you the uh, English orientation, as we say, the understanding, but they will also provide you the knowledge base, right?
Yes,
Even that will help you in interview.
yes, I think live mint is extremely good for that because it explains to you like a 5-year-old kid.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, it explains to you why, what, when, where. Like, and I think Hindu is comparatively tougher to
Hmm.
comprehend things. It assumes
Especially
that
this
you're
is the
expert.
business newspaper, right? So live mint goes in the detail of that. The Hindu will be giving just a general view overall,
Yes. So
right?
anything which assumes just, yeah, just teach yourself as comfortable as you can, comfortably as you can. Yes, do that.
Right. So I think again, reading newspapers, then being genuine, writing, knowing about your own self would be helpful. And basic knowledge you have to have. Anyhow, you have cleared phase two, so you're expected to have basic knowledge of your own stream, right?
Yes.
ठीक है.
Basic knowledge. I mean, regarding phase two, I'll just add this that as legal paper was concerned, in phase one it was extremely easy. So easy that even a law graduate who had not studied for this exam could have cracked it. But the
Hmm.
paper one, which was general part, was extremely tough. I mean, so
Hmm.
tough that I was in tension at the time of giving it whether I would able be able to crack it or not. So
You
hard it
mean
was.
the phase two paper?
Phase one, paper one,
Acha,
the general part. So was so
general
tough.
part.
It was extremely tough. And paper
Hmm.
two, which was law, and I was like, oh, it's so easy. Like I know everything. I
Huh?
was like this, but actually that was the case with everyone.
Hmm.
Everyone who came out were like, okay, we knew everything. But in phase two, legal paper, things were extremely different.
Right.
They asked us such tricky question. It was not like I was not aware about the answers. Like I knew the answer actually, but the MCQs were framed in such manner that you
Hmm.
can't ascertain which one, and you can't afford to mark wrong answers
Hmm.
because the deduction is too huge to afford.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
can't afford that. So whenever I was unsure, even if I knew the answer, I simply skipped it, and I only marked those which
You were sure about.
which I was extreme 100% sure about.
Hmm.
And for that, you have to get this snack. You have to solve a lot of mocks, give a mock,
Hmm.
lot of mocks, and don't give it to judge your own metric. I use the mocks to compare myself with others. Like, see, if the exam is going to be tough, then it's going to be tough for everyone. It's just not going to be tough for me. So I understand that everyone is equally drowning in the ocean. That
Hmm.
is what I assume. So uh, so what I did was, okay, so these many people are getting such marks, then I can also, if I just need to do better than them, not
Hmm.
exactly great, I just need to do better than that. I thought.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what I did, I used to keep a piece of paper beside me, and there's a way of marking numbers, like you put 4 lines and then you scratch the fifth one. There's
Right.
a way of numbering.
Right.
So what I used to do, that I understood that I at least need to get 20 questions right,
Hmm.
absolutely right minimum, to clear the cutoff. And other than that, I don't need to get into guesswork. So I used to mark, okay, so I got one question right, two questions. So I used to mark that.
Hmm.
And then after marking it, then I knew that, okay, so I got 20 questions right, absolutely right, I'm sure of. Now I have surely cleared the cutoff. Now
Hmm.
comes the merit part. So for that, I used to take calculated risk, such as,
Hmm.
okay, should I guess or not? Even if I'm not sure, okay, should I mark or not?
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
that that how I actually approach.
Right. So mock tests are very important,
Very
guys.
important.
Please note this down. Yash has told us time and again. Not only that you need to go through the mocks to identify your strength and weakness, starting from your interview where you started, Yash, that students must be able to identify their weakness, strength, and then work accordingly. Then mocks shall be used for comparison also, that if other student, you should not be demotivated that you are not able to perform well. Rather, you should feel that if some other is able to do well, score well, you can also do that, right?
Yes.
And finally, of course, practice is anyhow the key. If you do not practice, you do not get acquainted yourself with the exam environment, with the type of paper, it'll be difficult for you, right, in comparison to others. So that is what I think Yash has told us. Very insightful information, although he is from legal stream. But I think the discussion that we have done today, the pointers that he has given us on mock tests, then revision, then how to go for your English paper, interview, all these things are going to be really helpful for all the stream candidates, right? So thank you so much, Yash. That was lovely talking to you. Very insightful interview.
Yes, ma'am. Same here. Thank you. Thank you very
Anything
much.
you would like to add on, please, to our students, to the candidates who are planning to prepare or have started their preparation?
See, I'll tell you something. I had an advantage because of my academic interest in the first place. I mean, for 5 years when I was in law school, I just used to pay attention to my lectures, and I never used to study that much hard, but I used to study on average basis. That, okay, this is something. So my academic interests were aligned. So I already knew what I was studying for, and there was nothing much to add on. So and for English also, there was nothing much to work for. So I think that I was a step ahead than others already
Hmm.
because of these 5 years. And so if you are going to start a competitive exam, just start with something which you're already aware about, which gives you an edge
Hmm.
than others. So that way it would be not only better for you, but you will also have this inherent confidence. And lastly, I don't know, see, I think there are people who work just as hard as me and were good as me in this thing, but they did not get selected. I know few of them. So regarding that, what I used to think, luck also plays a huge important factor. Like, I just can't say that this is all because of my hard work. So for luck, you need to have this unshakable core belief within yourself of confidence that I can do it. That's what I think. So if you are into praying and all, just do that. Like, practice gratefulness, practice
Hmm.
praying, and that will actually make a unshakable core within you, that yes, I can do it, no matter whoever, whatever, who tells you. If you don't have that unshakable core within you, that then it's just not, it might not happen. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Even
Lovely
for me,
again.
it took time.
Lovely. So I think this is again some additional points that students might note down. This is not especially like related to your studies, but it can help you in the entire process, right? Whatever you are preparing for. So again, I think this was an insightful information for all the students out there. Guys, drop your comments. Let us know how did you like the interview, right? What things you liked about Yash. And for any query also, feel free. You can just drop a comment or also mail us, right? So we will wind up the interview, Yash. Lovely talking to you. Thank you
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much again. We wish you all the very best for your career ahead in SEBI. You will be a wonderful officer, we believe, and congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Bye, guys.